What's up, guys? Perfect time to make a video. Got the Sierra O-Nip tabs going, little treat for the fish. And then when I say a treat, this is what they're getting fed today. Nothing more. This is the 55 gallon. As you can see, just a few weeks ago, we made a big change. I got rid of the sand. So this is the Fluval Stratum. I think the 17.6 pound bags. I would the cheap, like my local fish store has them for 40 bucks, and I think that's a little bit cheaper. Like it's $43 at PetSmart, I think, and Petco had a special for, I think I got them for like $37, but it was a lot more research for that little bit amount of money off. But you know, every little bit counts. So I was doing some research and it was time to switch over this tank. So I just pulled the sand. I drained the water to real low, left the fish in. About an 80% water change it would be considered. Fish were in the tank. I pulled all the plants out, and I had a little blackbeard algae, and I cut it all out, every bit of it. If it had even hair, now I know blackbeard algae would be on there and you can't see it, but I've eradicated as much as I could see. And the plants, God, they have grown so fast with this Fluval Stratum. It's amazing. You can see I just trimmed this. This is my fiance's favorite, the palm trees. And I just cut it back and it's already starting to take off. Just a day or two later, it's got two runners. Or not runners. I know it, stem plants, when you cut them back, they grow between the nodes. So every little leaf, right there where it's connected to the stem, a new plant will start to grow in just 2 days. I mean, there's growth. It's insane. And it's not overwhelming. That plant is overwhelming. I have to cut it back every week. Sometimes I'll let it go 2 weeks, but at the end of the 2 weeks, it's touching the top of the tank. So that plant does grow fast. And you can see my pink over here on the right. I let it grow. I usually cut it back and keep it half the height of that, but I was trying to fill in the tank and just check it out and let it do its thing for a little bit. Usually with the sand, the pink plant, the one over here, I'm not sure the name of them, guys, but and I don't want to guess. I got them from Winston Some Good out of the Raleigh area. And he's my plant guy. He knows better than me. But anyways, we're going to call it the pink plant. In the sand, it won't grow that tall. So by the time it got half that height, it would die off. And it would get this weird growth on top. And then it would do like, you know, the palm trees are doing right now, where it's shooting off new nodes. And so that's cool to see that the Fluval Stratum is making the plants grow just so much better. And as you can see, this one right here, how thick and lush it's grown in. With the sand, I've had it really good with the sand, I'm not gonna lie, but I've had it bad too, where I cut it back and I plant it, and the bottom, like all this will be dead, and then the top growth will be good. So that's a bonus too. There's no dead on the bottom. It's just straight growing great. I did throws there. If you could see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Amazon swords. So I had these in my 75 gallon, and they're just planted in gravel, and they just not thriving. So I pulled them out of there. Eventually, I'm going to switch that tank to the Fluval Stratum also, just because I love the way it looks. That black soil with that black background. Do you see these fish? I mean, they are jumping out the screen. It's amazing. Love them. Yeah, also, I've added some more cardinal tetras to this tank. I only had 10 previously, and now I have 20. And I have 20 silver tip tetras, and I think I made a mistake. I think I should have just done away with the cardinal tetras and put like 50 or 60 of these silver tip tetras in here. Because I want what, you know, Corey from Aquarium Co-op, he always says, you know, he has large schools, and I've seen it in his videos where he'll put his hand to the glass and it'll all start going to it. Now with 20 and a 55 gallon, they're not doing that, guys. They're just not. And they school good, but they're just all over the place, and they're always moving around. If you like that chaotic movement, I mean, usually it's males chasing the females is what it is. To be honest with you, this tank is CO2 injected. It's like 10 bubbles per second. It's ridiculous how much I use. I probably need to put a second diffuser in the tank, but I'm able to reach optimal levels, and as you can see with this, I mean, the color is amazing. Also, I noticed with the Fluval Stratum that my red plant over here, it's beautiful. I mean, it's dark burgundy, and then it's got some light tones in it. I think I could see that on the camera, but it's beautiful, guys. And I love this tank. And this plant right here, it didn't grow the same in the sand. So it was a bush. It was all intertwined. So I started off putting, you know, like stems 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually it didn't grow straight up. It would curl and twist, and it became a bush. And I like that way that looked, but I love the way this looks. The leaves are much broader, and this Fluval Stratum's the truth. If you're gonna do a planted tank, don't do sand unless you just plan on doing like Java Fern and Anubias, which is an amazing tank, guys. Low light. But spend the money. I mean, it's not that much. I mean, so I got 4 bags in here, and it's like 3-4 inches deep. Okay, Fluval Stratum, one downfall. If you do not plant this deep, like a deep bed, you're gonna need to use weights on your plants to hold them down inside the Fluval Stratum, because the roots, especially with stem plants, because stem plants, you have to push them down deep, even in the sand. If you got a thin bed in sand, they're not gonna stay in. So I highly recommend 3 to 4 inches of substrate, and sand or the stratum, guys. But it's not cheap, but it's an investment, and it lasts 2-3 years if you're gonna do it. I mean, especially with my situation where I bought the CO2 and I'm doing a CO2 injected, because most of these plants, they won't grow without the CO2. They just won't. And as far as fertilizer, I'm kind of overstocked on fish, so my nitrates hover around 20. Like, they might get up to 30 at the end of the week at the water change, but they're never at 0, you know. I do occasionally, if, like, I haven't yet, but with the sand, if the plants aren't as lush green, I'll definitely add some. I use the Easy Green from Aquarium Co-op, and I use the Easy Iron, but I stopped. Let me tell you about the shelf life on this Easy Iron I wasn't happy about. So the last time I did use the Easy Iron, I hadn't used it in forever, and it wasn't more than a year old, right? And when I was squirting it in the tank, I was having solids in the iron. I don't know if it was bad for the fish would try to take it, though, you know, eat it. And I don't know why it did that. But I haven't noticed it with the Easy Green. One thing will happen with the Easy Green is the sprayer, the end of it will crust up with like residuals and stuff from the I should clean this glass, because it would have been even cleaner. I mean, it's the outside of the glass, not the inside. It'd be even clearer, but it's looking pretty good on the camera right now. This tank's, I took the FX4 off of it, and I put that Aqua Clear FX or the Aqua Clear 110s. So I have two of those on here. And another thing I did, I took out the sponge filter, the pre-filter. And I love the pre-filters because it's like having a sponge filter in your tank with a hang-on back, and you don't need an air stone. But here's the situation with it. Anytime I add more biomedia, that's what I'm gonna do. But the sponge filters blackbeard algae seem to love it. And every week I would spray it with peroxide to kill the blackbeard algae, and it'd die, but it never completely went away from the sponge. And it's a large sponge too, so I felt like it was housing a lot of the BBA. So I'm always experimenting. So I pulled them out. I took them out of the tank. Also, I found a bunch of BBA like in the intake. So I took that out and ran cleaners through it. Not cleaners, but what are they called? Pipe cleaners. And got all that BBA out. And I ran a little peroxide through it just to make sure we got it all. And I thought I'd beat the BBA, but on my little pleco cave right here at the bottom, I noticed a little showed up. So I peroxided it. But I don't see any on any other plants except the crypt over here in the corner right here. This crypt, you could see the pink on the tip right there. That's the BBA dying, because anytime I see BBA, I get the peroxide. Now you got to be careful peroxide, especially with fish in a tank, so you don't ever want to use more than 1 milliliter per gallon. So it's a 55 gallon. I can use up to 50 milliliters of peroxide. So, and that treats a lot, especially when you're using the syringe technique, which is the only way to get rid of BBA. I've tried it all. XL doesn't work at all. And for you guys that it worked for, that's awesome. I'm glad it worked for you. Siamese algae eaters, they're just too big for me to keep in the tank. It's a lot of fish, so I didn't go that route. And I heard mollies did it, but most of the research I've done says, yeah, they'll eat some of it, but they don't eat it fast enough. If they're getting fed normally, like you see, I feed my fish well. I don't overfeed though. Once a day, that's it. But I vary their diets. So I got the Aqua Clear 110s on there. I got this got a Beamswork DA. It's the RGB. I mean, it's $65 4-foot LED, guys. There's no doubt in my mind as the best light for your money. And spend the extra $10 and get the timer that is attached to it. It works really well. I love it. Great light. I've done well with it. I also have Night Crew, but it's only got a white and blue spectrum. So these red plants, they would never really be red or pink. They would be more brown. You need that red light in there. Anything else with this tank? It's one of my favorite tanks, guys. I'm down to 4 balloon rams. I had 15 a year ago. So here's what I'm noticing about the balloon rams. No matter how clean your water is, because mine's pristine, promise you that. No matter how well you feed your fish, it's not aggression that's killing this fish. I'm thinking it's genetics. It's like, I heard the electric blue Jack Dempsey's, they 6 months and they're dead. Everybody, that's what I've researched, because I want the fish as well. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a fish that's dead in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And these fish are $20, so they're a little on the high end, but I would still buy more, because I'd try my best, to give them the best life they could. And I think at $20, they're still worth it. They're that pretty. My boy Huinen sells them, and they're worth every penny, even though I lost several. I think it's genetics, like I said. Silver tip tetras, I'm not sure I love that fish, but they're cool. They school. I really don't like the colors of the females. The males look like an ember tetra. Not as vibrant though. Even ember tetras are much more colorful. And you see them chasing them females. That's what they do all day long. I still got the 2 bristlenose plecos in here, which is crazy. The male is the female's son. Yeah, there's the female in the front right there. Look how white she is. Her color is much less than his, and she's old. I've had that fish for 5 years now, and 4 or 5 years, and she actually, the male is her son, but they still breed, and I have plenty of fry. I mean, they always have eggs, and then I just got tired of pulling eggs, so I just let them swim out and they'll be in the tank. And usually I collect them and I'll put them in a different tank. They're good. My favorite cleaner fish is a bristlenose pleco, and I love the exotic plecos, but they don't clean. I mean, I can't think of one that really just, except the common, it comes out and cleans. And the rubber lips and the bristlenose are your 2 best, but I like the bristlenose. I think they're hardier. You can't, if you kill a bristlenose, you need to do some research. But I'm not gonna stretch it out too much further. I love this tank. It's a 55 gallon. I'm absolutely upgrading it to a 75 gallon Black Friday. I should have done it this Black Friday, but I didn't want to be single. My wife, my fiance when she came home and there's 2 75 gallons in the living room, you should have seen her face. She's gonna kill me. But she's supportive. I mean, she's been awesome through this. I buy fish all the time and she doesn't say nothing. She's the best. But I hope you're enjoying this tank, guys. I love these fish. Silver tips, not so much. I love the cardinals. One of my favorite fish in the hobby. I got 10 more from Imperial Tropicals, and they came in good size, actually. I thought they were going to be much smaller, and they came in decent size, and they were healthy and colorful. They acclimated in my water really quick. Couldn't say anything better about Imperial. Wait, tomorrow's a big day for me. That's why another reason I knocked this video out. You probably won't see the video so quick, but I just placed a big, well, not a big order, but I got 4 fish coming from Snake River Cichlids. Wait till you see these fish, guys. It's not for this tank, but more to come. All right, I'm out, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. If you got any questions, comments, hit me up. If not, peace.